So the World Championship is currently underway, and as always, this time of the year comes with some surprises. When it comes to the matches, the primary games I have been focused on is Duel Links. But the biggest bit of news that has caught the attention of most would be the revealing of 3 new cards that will be released in the new Sarcophagus Mega Tin. I'm sure almost everyone has seen these cards by now, but here they are anyway as a refresher. We have Nibiru, the Primal Being, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, Dark Ruler No More, and Dimension Shifter. So we have 2 monsters and 1 magic, and while on the surface that may not seem like much, these cards are a huge deal because they have the ability to change the game's current format going forward. Longtime viewers of my channel are well aware that I always say that the biggest problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! In its current state is it only takes 1 player into consideration, and that is the person who wins the dice roll. By going first, you can build a board that has multiple negates and shut the opponent out of the game entirely. In my video about troll decks, I talked about the first form of lockout that involved the card Yatagarasu, in which you can lock out your opponent by denying them their draw phase. But what makes the current format worse than the Yata lock is you can still be locked out from playing despite being able to draw cards. The fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become a solitaire-based game has not gone unnoticed. This is why floodgate cards are becoming more popular to average duelists like me. And then there's Mystic Mine. One of the first cards to render just about every deck in the meta helpless if you get it to activate during your opponent's turn. Now I will say this, I am a Mystic Mine duelist. I only play it during the meta days at my locals, but the frustration that my decks have inflicted simply mirrors the same frustration I'm sure many people feel when they face a board of negate effects. And that's basically the reason why I play Mystic Mine to begin with. It's my way of saying that in this current format of negates, whether it be due to combo decks or 1 field card, nobody wins. A game that's supposed to require 2 people to play isn't very fun when only 1 person gets to set their cards. For a while, people have actually asked me how long will I continue to play with my Mystic decks, and my response is, when this negate board nonsense ends. But thanks to these new cards, it looks like that day may be soon, because these new cards are designed to tackle this lockdown problem and hopefully create more diversity in the current meta. Let's start off with Nibiru, the Primal Being. It's a level 11 light monster that reads as follows. During the main phase, if your opponent normal or special summons 5 or more monsters this turn, you contribute as many face-up monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. Then special summon 1 Primal Being token to your opponent's field. You can only use this effect of Nibiru the Primal Being once per turn. The fact that this card has a quick effect is the reason it's so amazing. We all know that combo decks can summon 10 plus cards on their first turn, and once the field is full, you contribute all those monsters to special summon Nibiru. Now, the strength of the token will depend on what monsters were tributed, but in most cases it will not matter because there are a ton of cards that can deal with strong beat sticks. But the point of this effect is to derail your opponent's field and allow you to play cards on your turn. Next we have Dark Ruler No More, and it's a normal magic card that reads, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. Okay, so this is a card that you really need to open with, and having 3 in your deck doesn't give you good odds, but if you have it in your opening hand, it almost guarantees that you will be able to play through the negate board because your opponent's monsters can't respond to this card's activation. The only downside is it can still be negated with back row effects, and with traps like Solemn Judgment now unlimited from the ban list, that won't be too hard. Still, if it resolves, it means both duelists can set up a board and have interactive gameplay. And last we have Dimension Shifter. It's a level 6 dark monster that reads, if you have no cards in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. At first, this effect doesn't seem like a big deal because there are already numerous cards that have similar effects of banishing every card that will go to the grave, and they typically serve as a perk to Grandmandu decks. The only difference is this is a quick effect that essentially makes this card a hand trap that can be used on your opponent's first turn. Like the other cards, Dimension Shifter is a card that you really need to have in your opening hand to reap the benefits. Once your opponent begins their main phase 1, all you gotta do is ditch this card to the graveyard, and anything your opponent does that requires the grave will not activate. So there's a good chance you'll prevent a negate board from being built to begin with. I can see these cards becoming staples in just about every deck, or at least every side deck. These will be really good to side in if you have a hunch that your opponent opts to go first on game 2 of a match. The main downside of these cards is they're the type that you really need to have in your opening hand in order to reap the most rewards. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Being a card game after all, there is no guarantee to open with them. But the fact that they exist just evens out the playing field so much. Not only can these cards combat the negate board so well, it may even discourage some duelists from even playing combo decks as much, and change the format entirely. I can now say with confidence that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a 2-player game again. So what do you think of these cards? Are they good for the game? Do you think the format will really change? Well, whether it does or not, just remember to be a good sport, play the game, not the fame. See ya! Thanks for watching! If you like what you see, subscribe and be sure to click on the bell for notifications. You can also check me out on Facebook. The link is in the description below. Happy dueling!